Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're trying to get our wonderful guest on at the moment. This is 27 degrees SAG. I'm your host, Kimla Lowe. And as we're trying to get Tracy on at the moment, please bear with me. And yeah, please bear with me as we are trying to get her on. So there you go. Let's see if we can get her on. Here she
Hey, am I
is.
here?
Yay!
Can
We've
you hear
got
me now?
yes. Oh, I just love trying to do all of this at once. Well, good evening, Tracy. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me back. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Today we've got a moon in Taurus, and Taurus is, an earth sign. It's very practical, down to earth. They like to speak the truth, and they kind of have a BS detector, most Taurans do. And I always love them because they can see right through people. And if you're not giving them the bottom line, you will just lose their attention altogether. They're in it for the long haul. And I feel like that's what we're doing tonight. And we want to get to the truth. We want to hear it. We want to know why we are doing what we're doing here on planet Earth. And it is so nice to have you. We're getting ready for this also. We're getting ready for this Mercury retrograde and
Yes.
coming up on Friday. How do you deal with Mercury retrogrades?
Oh, I make a lot of faces. They kind of, and um, Mercury, to me, it's always good to know. When I know it's happening, then I have a little more patience. I have a little bit more flexibility in my schedule. I try to just work with the energies. And to me, knowledge is power. So, when phone calls get missed or connections get weird or whatever happens, computers go down, this fun stuff that we were doing tonight, I'm sure plays into the shadow of Mercury. And, so you just roll with it and you gotta just take a breath and keep going.
You're exactly right. And we blame Mercury during this time for everything, which is good. We need a scapegoat every now and then.
Right?
Yeah, I happen to have one of my children that were born with Mercury retrograde. And, if you do have a child that's born with Mercury retrograde, they are borderline genius. They have a sense and an intuition about them, about upcoming trends, about what's going to be very popular in the future. They also have really good results when they take a risk. It's almost like they can see through different types of challenges. They're very creative. They also like to. Whenever I see my son do this, I laugh. He goes to the back of a book first. And he reads the back of the book and says, "Oh, okay. Now I can go in the front and see how it all ties in." And they are very, very successful, creative, lucky during Mercury retrogrades. So if you are in relationship with someone with Mercury retrograde, I would say polish this time up for them, support them.
Yeah.
Invest in their cryptocurrency.
That's the way to do it. That's a whole new thing I still haven't figured out, that cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
But
we're
I'm
working on
sure
that.
it's coming. It's coming. We'll all get educated.
We will. We will. In
Yeah.
whatever way we're going. But for this particular time, the bottom half of January, we're going to go through a real transitional time because when Mercury goes into retrograde, it's joining Venus in retrograde already. And Uranus is also in retrograde. So it's kind of a triple play here. And we've got a lot of things backtracking over exactly what took place about 2 years ago. And so when we kind of take a look at that, what have we learned? What are we being held back from, being held down to, and what are we willing to be accountable for during this particular Mercury retrograde? It's in Aquarius, which is all about humanity. It's all about the future, but we can't go into the future just yet. It's right there. But
I
we
like that lungy feeling because we want to. We want to go there.
we do. But there's just a couple things holding us back. And so we have to go through those couple of things that are really holding us back to be awakened and to really understand that we are in this so we can set up the next future of humanity. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about our future, our children, and we're going to be talking about where we left off the last time you were here, which was so much fun. You were channeling Daniel and his friends. And tell us a little bit about who Daniel is and how you started to channel him.
Okay. So I call him Daniel. That's the name that came to me, but it's an Arcturian energy that it was in August of 2018 that I started channeling him. It was right after I took a class, my level 2 class for QHHT. And we were in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and it was just this very magical time. And I came back and I started, I went into a regression. I had somebody do one on me. And when I went into the regression, Daniel came out. And anyways, it's been an interesting ride ever since. But Daniel is an Arcturian being that is actually, from what I understand, another aspect of me, or the same soul incarnated in Arcturus, or wherever he resides. Sometimes he's on a ship, from what I understand. But we're very connected in that way, kind of like twins would be connected, So his energy and my energy can come together very easily, very quickly, and bring in messages from that other perspective, from the Arcturians who are here to help the collective right now through all the shifting and moving into the new age and the new earth and the higher vibrations. So
Let me ask you a question. Has he ever taken you up on his ship?
I had one experience one day, and it always happens very randomly, and so I think I was going into a meditation or something, or I was going to say a prayer for somebody, closed my eyes. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in front of this panel, but it's very intuitive panel. It was like more like your emotion is what steers the ship kind of thing. But I'm looking at my hands and I have these really long fingers and only 3 fingers on each side. And I can feel that I have a different body, and the head's really big. And the clarity was nice. We get into our little foggy human heads, and then it was like, oh, wow, it's like I know things. And I'm looking around and I'm thinking in my head, what's happening? And I hear Daniel come in and say, well, I'm channeling you this time. I was like, oh, it works like that? And he's like, yeah, you channel me and I can channel you. And I was like, I didn't know that would happen. So, and it was very brief. And there were some others, other Arcturians. And I think there was even some Palladians on the ship, but it was a ship that I was on. And it was brief. And I kind of got to look around, like it looked like what you would think a ship looks like. And then it was back in my body. And so I was like, okay, well, that was interesting. And I had another time where they took me on what I call a pod. I was in a pod looking at a council meeting that was happening down below. And there was all these different collectives, and there was thousands of pods everywhere. And while I was in the pod, I was looking over and I could see Daniel, and then I could see the group that I call the Imperials, which is a group of Arcturians that work with with me and with Daniel. And I was asking, well, why am I here? And they looked down at the platform, and I could see everybody down there having a meeting, and even our president was down there. And I was like, oh, that's our president. And the next thing I know, I'm back in my body. So they show me these little brief things that, I don't know when it's going to happen or what exactly they're showing me sometimes, but it's definitely been an interesting ride. And I love the information that comes through. It's very loving and encouraging and helping us all to get focused on what it is we need to do to help us get to that higher vibration, get to that new earth, get to that new way of being and living and how we interact with each other. So it's been good.
Wow. That is the coolest thing I've ever heard. That's awesome. So, and when you're doing this, you have this great way about you, like you just take this all in stride. Do you ever have fear or anxiety about this, or do you just know that this is a good thing?
It's a knowing, yeah. And so, growing up, I could remember, I grew up Catholic, so there's a lot of stories in Catholicism that will strike fear in you, right? And so
Yeah.
I remember thinking of ghosts and different things like that and how scary they were. And, it's an energy, it's a vibration. It's like if an angel came to visit you, the presence of that angel would be loving and kind and embracing, and you wouldn't fear it. It's kind of the same way. It's like this person or this being is a family member. It's another aspect of me, so it feels very familiar. It feels very safe. It feels very loving and very funny. He's always funny. And so, I never know when he's going to give somebody a bad time or make a joke or whatever, but he does have the same humor that I seem to have. And so, yeah, there is no fear with it for me. And he's my gatekeeper. So he's the one that keeps all the other energies, because there'll be other energies that'll come through and channel when I'm in channel sometimes. That's why I say, and friends, because sometimes it'll start off Daniel, but then it'll go to a Syrian group or a Palladian group or somebody else that has a message. And when that happens, Daniel's the one that makes sure that their vibration is high enough to be channeled. And
Oh.
he has said no to some of them that wanted to come through and channel. He says, nope, you can give me the message, I'll tell her. And he's done it that way. So he makes sure that whatever is coming through, that it is of high vibration and the message is one that is good for the collective. So
Wonderful. I love hearing that. And, the more we learn about our universe, our solar system, more planets that we are awakening to, which is higher vibrational planets. And as we are going through the photon belt, we are speeding up. That's why the planet is changing its climate and its temperature, and different things are happening, is because the planet itself is speeding up and going through new territory that we've never been in. Now, as we're going through and we're exploring all of this universal wonderment and all these new added fun toys that we get to learn about that we haven't yet, it's a wonder as to being responsible parents and trying to hold the family unit together in the best way we know how, when the belief systems that we grew up with are changing so much. And that goes for the governments as well, and that goes for your religion, that also goes for even family principles. It pertains also to our physical bodies. And this is such a transitional time where the parents, the adults, are really on shifty ground. And, I always think to myself, how can we provide a stable unit for these children so that they feel secure as they're being brought up, when they're hearing all of this, and, I guess they've been prepared or pre-prepared for
Yeah.
this. I just want to hear your take on that.
Oh my gosh, the kids are so amazing, and it's cute because we sit here and go, okay, we're preparing the earth for the, getting these vibrations ready for the children, and how do we support and hold them? But in reality, they're coming in and waking us up. So, their energy. Now, that's not to say, they're as light workers or as way showers, whatever you identify with, we have come in to change and shift the frequencies, the vibrations, the leveling things up to get the energy to a place where these kids can come in now. We were the original kids, you and me, and the first, as Dolores called them, the first wave of volunteers or whatever. We were the first kids coming in and had to plow the path and start clearing this energy and start exposing things and getting things out there. And then we just keep having these next wave and next wave. Now the good news is there is the next wave. There is another wave of kids. I was told, it's so, to me this is so cool because, gosh, it was probably maybe 2 years ago, I was told that the sun kids were the children of the sun were coming in. I'd never heard that term before, the children of the sun. And they were showing that all of these children were coming in and they're coming through the sun portal. So we had called in all of these different collectives to come in and help the earth at this time. Well, that got extended out to other galaxies and other places, and those places are coming through what they call the sun portal. So they're calling them children of the sun. I'd never heard that before. And the other day I saw somebody post a picture, a video talking about the children of the sun. And I thought, okay, I thought I was the only one using that term. So how cool is that? It is in the ethers.
Wow.
There's something to that. It's kind of validating, right? When things like that happen. But
Yeah.
these children that are coming in, we're getting a lot of really highly sensitive kids. And we're not quite there with that balance of energy for these kids yet. So they are kind of struggling. Some of them are struggling. But the good news is these kids are coming, and they're coming, quite a few of them. It seems like there's more and more coming in. We are now getting the earth in a sustainable energy and frequency that there are parts of the earth where the hybrid children will be able to be seated in, from what Daniel's telling me. The hybrid children are the ones that, they come and get us and they grab an egg and they grab some sperm and they blend it with some alien DNA and then create the hybrid child that lives off planet on a ship or somewhere else. And I asked, why do we even do that? Why does that happen? Why are we making hybrid children? And he said, because when they raise the vibration of the earth, because they have the human DNA, they have the ticket to come to the earth. The whole idea was, why did we have to incarnate as humans? Why couldn't we just intervene? Well, you can't intervene. It's the planet's rules. No intervention. You have to come in and forget everything, all that stuff. Well, these kids are kind of like the loophole because they have the human DNA. So they get dual citizenship. They get to be in space and they can be on Earth because they are human. And so when the vibrations hit the right frequencies to sustain these guys where it's not too intense for them to be here, they're going to start coming in to help us move into the deepest healing that we need to do to get to the new earth. So we got that going on. And they said some of those are being seated in now, which they're now adults. They were hybrid children, but they're now adults and they're being brought in. They've been in training. They've been doing all this stuff off planet. And now they've probably been coming in for a while, the ones that could handle it. But so many things going on. It's like, oh, I hope I remember to tell it all to you. And so as we keep doing this, as we keep evolving, a lot of people are like, oh, we're not getting anywhere. And it's like, no, you're not looking at the right things. Stop paying attention to all the riffraff going on, all the chaos going on, and get centered, because what we are waking up. There is so many people waking up. Dolores talks about the backdrop people, the background people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember reading about the backdrop people. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yes. And if you were to think about how many backdrop people there are and then just eliminate them from the population that you're counting for the awakening, get rid of all the backdrop people, all the background people. Now you've probably cut down you've probably cut down the population by at least a third, if not closer to half the population is just background people, right? And I always go to that movie that came out with Ryan Reynolds, The Free Guy. I think that's and he's a background person in the video game, right? And then he starts to waken up or whatever, and so it's like, oh my gosh, how appropriate is this movie? So just showing how the background people just do their thing that they're supposed to do. This is their program, they're running it and they're doing it. So when we don't count them and we look at the amount of people that are waking up, I mean, you and I, we've been doing this for a long time. Think about back when we started doing this stuff. Could you just go out into anywhere you wanted to go, restaurants and anywhere, and have these conversations that we're having right now?
Oh.
You'd be like, I'm going to whisper because if anyone hears me, they're going to put me in a straitjacket.
They used to say to me, oh my gosh, she uses the word planet.
Well, I have to tell you, I went to lunch the other day with a friend because my birthday is in January. Her birthday's in January. We had a birthday lunch.
Yes.
Thank you. And so we're sitting there and she was asking me questions. And I said, do you care if I bring my tarot cards out? And she goes, no, that would be awesome. So I bring them out and I'm throwing cards down by, we had eaten and now we're just kind of playing. And the waitress comes by and she goes, are you doing tarot? I said, yeah. She goes, oh. I said, do you want a reading? And she goes, I would love a reading. So we end up reading the waitress, right? And then the gal that was sitting in the booth behind my friend, she turns around, she goes, did I hear that right? Are you doing tarot? I said, yeah. And I said, do you want a reading? She goes, I would love a reading. So we give her a reading. And then another waitress comes over because then the word's getting out that we're doing tarot over there. We must have read about 5 people. And I was just sitting there going, this is the world we live in now. This is it. I would have never been able to do that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So exciting, the times that we're in. And that's just showing us how we're raising this vibration up, awareness up. We're shifting into these new realities. Like you said, our constructs, the learned behaviors, everything's collapsing and we are relearning. Everything that we know in our world was created by somebody that was a human that had an idea or a thought and created a thing around it. And now we all live by that thing. And so now we're just collapsing that all down and redoing that, reinventing it. But that's what's bringing in these new kids. So how many prodigies do we see out there right now? Itty bitties that are playing pianos and singing and just brilliant minds. Yeah, and they're just amazing kids. And so many of them are using telepathy. So if you have a small child that hasn't been speaking and you're like, they should be talking and using words by now. Yeah, you probably got one of those special starseed children, one of those sun children. But the good news is they're here, which means if they're still coming, we're still on the right path. We're still going into ascension because those kids are the ones that are supposed to, by the time they grow up, they're going to be the ones that are pretty much, they're already coming in that frequency and that energy, and it's just going to keep getting higher as we keep bringing children in. But they're the ones that are going to be leading this new earth. So,
well, what is the most important way that we can protect our children? There are so many people that I hear that have children that the dark side is really making their last stand, and they're really getting to the kids. Have you been hearing this at all?
I don't watch any of the news or any of that because I have to stay a clean channel, and I'm a conscious
channel.
No,
this isn't a news. These
you're asking through Daniel. Have I heard it?
Yeah.
No, I haven't, because that's probably not something I was willing to go into because it's hard to look at that stuff. So I tend to not bring it in that direction. But how to protect the children? Actually, if we bring Daniel in today, why don't you ask him that?
Yeah, I would like to know that. That's a real problem that's happening now, and it's one of those things where I know a lot of moms that are getting into the spiritual light worker pathway, waving a banner for the children and to really surround them and protect them as they do come in. And I was just wondering what the best way possible we could do that.
Yeah. Well, the ones that the parents that are having these, the ones that are coming in now, and all the younger ones, they had to have the enlightened parents to begin with, right? The ones that were on their path, and even a lot of them started their awakening when they got pregnant with these high vibrational children. All of a sudden, now they're waking up, right?
Right.
What they're showing me is, well, we all have our counsels and guides. What I'm seeing in my head right now is almost like each one of them is surrounded by a pillar of white light as their own protection. And what I'm hearing is we need to trust that they designed their path. There's so many people that I've talked to through the practice that I do and through the sessions and stuff, where they are these most phenomenal light workers. They have had some of the most horrific life stories, and it's like, why did they have to go through all that? And those people were purging. They were purging the collective karma. They were purging the ancestral karma. So they were doing a lot of cleaning up, and that's why they had such amazingly horrific lifetimes, and here they are, still being a light worker, still being somebody that is conquering the world, right? And being bright and light and doing the best they can. So trusting that they had their journey for a reason, we have to trust that when these little new vibrations are coming in, that they also have set a path up for them and that they are protected. And that's why they pick the parents that they have picked. That's why they have the path that they have, and they're born in the places that they're born in. I just keep seeing them being surrounded by a pillar of white light, and they've got the guardians around them. There is no perfect answer to that, I don't think, especially as parents. We know we can't always keep our kids from falling down and scraping a knee. I know we're talking about some bigger energies here, but
right.
I think there's systems in place. And I think that's also part of why the hybrids are coming in too, is they're going to be more sensitive to that. A lot of the underground stuff, a lot of the secret stuff they've been working on clearing that stuff out. And I've met a lot of the people that are part of that system, bringing in the energies to help clear out the exact stuff you're talking about. It's and the impression I get, and I would be curious about your answer on this, is I get the impression it's already done. We've already completed that. We're just catching up to that in our timeline. Like we're still, it's happened. We're just catching up to it. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what I feel like is that the children are coming in with this wonderful new energy, a new frequency, a new power that is surrounding them, that is galactic in nature. We've heard about the crystal, the rainbow children, all of them, that yes, they are working on their third eye, and they're working on using the voice box, because the telepathy is the way to converse and all of those things. There's kind of a wave that's happening now, and a lot of my clients, and I want to say probably from 38 to 42, they're weighing, should I not have one more child, or should I start at this particular age? And what I see in their charts, when I look at their charts, there's a definite, let me just say, a definite portal that opens up within the chart that I can say, yes, this is a great time for you to do this. And it's very clear if you have the partner's chart as well. But what I can also see is that they are, or they have already given permission to bring a star seed child in.
Yeah.
So we can begin to prep um, the earth knowledge that you have already given permission for the star seed to come through. This is going to be a very special soul that you have given permission to come through, and to prepare the parent, because subconsciously they know this, but not consciously.
Right.
And and so we kind of want to consciously prepare them for having a very unique child, a very special, advanced frequency. And you're right, when they start carrying that frequency, when the soul does enter into the trimester, whatever it decides to do at that particular time, you can tell the energy push, inside of the mother, and what that means. I also feel that there is a lot of doubt and fear that needs to be cleared out about bringing new children onto the planet, and that it's okay to have more than two, or or your age. We're Longevity is the in thing right now. We're going to live longer than we ever have. So your age, in order to be fertile and all of that, has really lengthened. I just get the green light for these particular moms who are thinking around this time, should I have another child, or am I able to, or what does that look like? So yeah, I kind of feel like this is a green light, and you just validated that with saying that the kids are coming in from different areas, and a new wave is approaching for them. And maybe we can ask Daniel, is there any way that we can make this easier for them, or is there, by raising our frequency and working on that, I think we would be able to maybe support this new wave of children coming in. What do you think?
I can go get Daniel, and you can ask the questions if you want.
Well, okay. I want to say thank you to everybody. We've got a great chat room going on here. Thank you so much for coming along. I know you want her to channel, and I just want to say hey to Ivy, and I want to say hello to Bill, and also to Sleeping Sun, I think is
Sleeping Guns is one of my gals. Hello.
One of your gals. Okay.
Yeah. There's a few on here that I recognize too. So hi guys, I'm so glad you joined us here. And I know I was getting questions on my YouTube channel about the children, so I was directing people to come watch this today because it was so perfectly in alignment. So
that's awesome.
Like, hey, guess what? We're going to talk about it. So come watch the show. So there's everybody responding to the hellos. I always love an active chat room because I always like I like it when it's participating and fun. So, and thank you to the ones that wished me a happy birthday. That was sweet. I wasn't looking for that when I was saying that. I was just trying to set the scene for why we were sitting at the restaurant, just playing with these cards. But I'm going to go get Daniel, and I want you to talk to him about these things. And if anyone hasn't seen me channel yet, I just close my eyes and I invite the energy to merge with mine. And again, it is. I've done this so many times now. It used to be I would wait for a second and wait for that, and I'd feel the merge. Now I just, hey, I like that. I have a little Lemurian one right here. Shall we just make our crystal energy?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go get Daniel, and Kimla, you've done this before, so you're just going to have a little chat with Daniel.
I have. I just want to say one thing. If anybody in the chat room wants a question answered as well, please post it now.
Yes, hurry. Daniels can be chatty, so we'll hope to have room for all of it. Okay. We are here and we are excited to be part of this conversation. It is always good to talk about all the new things coming into the planet and being flexible and ready and willing to make room for the new to come in. So what an exciting time. And we'll let you ask the questions and then we'll bring forward the best answer that we have at this moment.
How can we support the new frequency of the children that are coming into the planet?
There are many of you that are watching that have already been working on this. Many of you that have already set up the pillars of light that are holding and sustaining the frequency so the children can come in. A lot of the children will be perceived as struggling because they'll be doing things differently. But we want to tell you, these are very old souls and very, very educated souls. They have been on many planetary systems and they have been through many transitions and shifts of planetary systems. What we want to talk to you about is these children are coming in to help move this frequency, this vibration, to move everything to something new. As you were talking about the planet moving, it's moving into a place it's never been before, and that is why we are seeing the global reactions to that in your climate and even in your human behavior. You are all moving into this new element, to this new vibration, into this new awakening, into other parts of your mind that you haven't even used before. You're opening up parts of your mind, parts of your DNA, parts of who you are that you designed yourself to be for this lifetime. Now, many of you have come in with the agreement to run the frequencies, to run the energy, to purge the toxicities, and to bring in the light. And so, as you are doing your jobs, and we don't even want to call them jobs, that makes it sound like a lot of work, but really all you have to do is be, because you've already agreed to all of this. So you're doing nothing different than what you are right now. You can be consciously aware that you're doing that, and when you are consciously aware, you will amplify the energy and the ability to do it, and it will wake you up on other levels of who you are as well, which is a fun journey to take. But you do not have to take that journey. You are already being what you designed yourself to be here to be. If you are watching this show, you are already in alignment with what you came here to do. You're holding and sustaining the energy and the frequencies. These children are going to come in and they're going to level you up. They're going to level you up so that you can level them up, so you can raise them up. So what you might find is that is not always comfortable. So we're actually, you say, how can we help and support the children? And we say, how can we help and support the adults that have to help and support the children? Because the adults are going through transformations that the children will not have to go through. They are already set to these frequencies. They are already designed with their DNA to hold and grow in these frequencies with the planet. You, however, are not. As adults, you are going through physical changes, mood changes. You are finding yourself maybe in these erratic behaviors. We're sure, Kimla, that you can explain a lot of those behaviors also through what is going on astrologically throughout the planet. It is all in alignment. It is all happening the way it is supposed to happen. It has all been structured and designed, and now it is in play. And with the free will at play with all of that, that is what makes everything so interesting. So we say to you, the children are coming in. They are already within the households and the family units that they designed for themselves, that we're going to be holding them, sustaining them, and keeping them safe. If you want to help create the world that is safest for them, you are all going through this. How do we want to say this? There is a lot of energy coming in right now in 2022. There's going to be influxes of energy. There's going to be the solar flares. There's going to be the Schumann resonance rising and falling and doing its thing, because it is designed to move you out of old energies and into new ones. And in order to move out of old ones, sometimes it has to be right there in your face. It has to be right there so that you can move it out of the way. I forgot that was even a thing, and now it's right here in my face, and now I can move it, heal it, and move on. Everything that is designed and going on right now, you as light workers have helped design this. So there's so much story to tell here. We'll try to talk fast and get as much information as we can and still leave room for questions. You have come in as the way showers. You have come in as the light workers in the different waves. You know of 3 of those waves, through Dolores Cannon, through Doreen Virtue. But there are other waves of energies that are here as well. You guys have all come in to move through these energies, to set the cycles in this earth, to create the vibrations, and to make this all happen. It is a design that you have already created because you are the ones that answered the call. You are the ones that came here to help the collective. The ones that have not awakened yet, the ones that seem to not be aware. We want to tell you a little bit about that too. Some of those who seem to still be asleep are not asleep. They are playing a role for some that are awakening, that need to move through some of their awakening, through some ego stages, through some pride and ego stuff that is going on for them, where they need to work through some of their stuff. That is really too much to get into, but just know that not everybody that appears asleep is asleep. And then look at some of those that have made it through that sleep state, and now they've taken the red pill, as you say, or they've moved into their awakening, and then boom boom boom, rapidly they're all caught up to the rest. It doesn't take them long at all to get caught up. We want you to start paying attention to that. There are so many awakening right now, and so many on this journey right now, and it just keeps rippling and rippling and rippling. And so some of you are light workers. Some of you are the ones that came and heard the call and you answered the call and you came. And others are not. They are the ones that have been in the reincarnation or recycle loop, and they keep coming back, and they got stuck in this system, and you are coming here to help them get unstuck out of the system. It is working. You are doing it. They are waking up. There's so much information out there now. It's almost hard for them not to come across it in some way. Even in your own families, as you are listening, you have people in your own families that are so stuck in their way, right? And they're so stuck in their structure and their whatever religious paradigm, and we can't even speak, the religious structure that they are in, the political structure that they are in, whatever structure that they are putting their blinders on, and they are moving forward, and nope, 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 don't talk to me. And now guess what? Some of those walls are breaking down now too. And you're going to start to see the most stubborn of the stubborn are going to start to find their way to some of this information, and it's going to start to resonate for them as well. So much is happening. So just keep being the light, keep being this beacon of beautiful light. You want to help support these children? Go find your happy. Go find your happy place. Find what makes you happy and joyful. Find what is making you thrive. What are you passionate about? What is your joy? Go find that, because when you hold that frequency, then you raise the frequency of the planet, you put it in the collective, everyone can grab hold of it, and pretty soon everybody is starting to move into this energy of excitement, of being in this fantastic energy, and of moving into their own lightheartedness, passions, and excitement. When you can get into that energy, that is the best energy you can hold for these children that are coming in, so that they have a better chance and pathway to what they came here to do. Now, they don't get any break. They come in hot, right? They're coming in with this bright light and this beacon of energy. And yes, they are communicating telepathically. And yes, they are saying things out of the ordinary. And they're telling you things that grandma who's crossed over has said, or they're telling you something about the animals and the pets and the trees and the air you're breathing. They're so psychic and they're so intelligent, and they're bringing in all this information. And they are going to seem different in some ways. And please do not think that they are struggling. Do what you need to do for your children. But we say to you also, allow them to be in this awakening. They are here to reconstruct how things are going. You are plowing the path, you are getting it started, and you are starting the reconstruct, but they are here with new programs. And they're going to come in when they get into their adult years. They are going to come in and implement the new programs. You're going to plow the path. You're going to lay the foundation. You're going to get this thing started. And then they're going to come in and really structure this in a beautiful way.
Let me ask you a question, Daniel.
Mhm.
Are the universal laws that wipe out our memory from our past lives and who we really are? I have an inkling that this could be easing up, and that the children that are coming in the future may be able to remember who they are. And is that true?
We had never been asked that question before, so thank you for that question. Yes, in the higher dimensions, there's no need to forget who you are, because there's not the duality and the lessons that you came here to learn in the third dimension. And so there will be no need or no sacrifices like that made, because you get to remember who you are, because there is no lessons to be learned, no dualities to work out. And so yes, that is very accurate. As you raise up into these other vibrations, not only will your, as somebody who has come in, who has had the amnesia in place, right, those veils will be lifted, and you'll start to remember even more and more about who you are. And it already happens as you journey into your past lives and do those types of journey work or meditations, and you see other aspects of self, other lives you have lived. You go to places on this planet and you recognize and feel familiar with it. It is awakening all of those parts of you. And yes, these children will come in and they won't even have the veil. Many of you have already experienced that, where even in Tracy's generation and beyond, the younger children, they do remember some of their past lives, and they'll say things to indicate that. But then a veil hits, and then they no longer can recall it or remember it. And that will quit happening. There will be no need for a veil to be in place.
Does
And
that also
so
mean that these children are able to come through in a dream state to their parents a little bit easier than they have in the past?
absolutely, there are probably children at this time that are already dreaming about the children that they'll have in the future. So yes, absolutely, the children, they can enter the dream state because they are so telepathic. They are able to do that and bring it forward.
Daniel, I was told that there are old patterns or old portals that are going to be reopening with the fifth dimensional energy to support the new children that are coming in. Can you validate that?
You are asking if portals of energy. Ask that question again. Is this a portal that you'll travel through, or a portal that is bringing in energy?
There are old portals. Let's say, for instance, the Sphinx, and different monuments or different land masses that will be opening up again with fifth dimensional energy to support the new wave of children coming in. Is that a fact?
We are going to go look for that and get you your answer. It won't take long. That is what is the saying? That is out of our pay grade. Look at that. And we are seeing that this will happen, but this is not in a near future. This would be a distant future. It could happen within, we always use Tracy as a lifetime. It could happen within Tracy's lifetime. It could happen within your lifetime, Kimla, but there is a chance. It's a ways out there before we see that happening. If you want a timeline with that, we see that being a little ways out, and it is always hard to nail down a timeline because of how many different free will things are at play with the timelines. But we see it. We are asking if they can give it to us in years. Can you give us to us in years? We're seeing the pyramids. We're seeing the pyramids. You might notice activity with the pyramids first. Some of the pyramids are already active. They said some of the pyramids are already active, but not the ones that you see up above the ground. The ones that are underneath the earth. The ones that have been covered already. Some of those are active. The answer to your question, to make it simple, is yes, that will happen. When and it happens over a long stretch of time, and it will happen most likely not for another 15, 20 years before you see things like that happening. But we could be wrong with that, because time frames, like we said, that is a little harder for us to nail down. Our time is different than your time.
Let's get back to the veil of amnesia. There is the 7 veils of illusion, and we have been told to work with the unicorns in order to remove the veils of illusion and to reach a more enlightened state. Can you tell us about working with the unicorns?
Mm. We love how these beautiful creatures can seem like they are a fantasy, yes, and we feel the same way with the dragons. The dragons can feel like they are fantasy. These are beautiful, majestic beings, and there are several people who are what we don't want to call them keepers. They are the ones that are working divine and directly with the unicorn or the essence of the unicorn in this reality. As the veils keep dropping, you will start, your memories will start coming back to a time when these worlds were not separate, when the world of the unicorns and the fairies and all of that were coexisting. And there was a time like that. All over this whole planet was coexisting with that realm. And then separation happened. And so there will be a time where, yes, those veils will drop and you'll work with the energy, the magic of the unicorns. Whenever we say that, we can't not get sparklies in our head. And that is Tracy doing that. She's like, unicorns, pink and sparkly. And she gets this whole thing going on because she has a unicorn pin that has a pink fluffy thing and it's all sparkly. So we're being messed with by her memories of unicorns. But yes, they are a very magical being. There's been many shows that depict the unicorn very accurately. Many different TV shows or series or movies that come out and show the magic of the unicorn. And those of you who are starting to remember, those things really resonate for you, and we want you to trust these things when you see them in movies, when you feel that there's a truth to it. Trust that.
Right, right. I've been told that there a wave of children coming through to, I don't know if it's building a new planet Earth or rebuilding or bridging planet Earth to another planet. Could you make that a little bit clearer for us?
And so you are looking at the children are coming to do that.
Yes.
Why don't we say it this way? The children are coming to complete that.
Okay.
As anyone that might be familiar with the Dolores picture where the new earth is branching out from the old earth and you see that separation. That is what you have all been working on. You have all been pulling away from that denser energy and moving it into a new energy. So the way we see it is that they are dimensions. You're creating a new dimension within your earth that is considered the fifth dimensional frequency and above. You'll fluctuate between the fifth and we think the seventh. Many of you will get to the seventh dimension quite quickly once you've made it to the fifth, and you'll bounce just like you go from 3, 4, 5, you'll go from 5, 6, 7. And so you just keep rising, it never stops. But you are creating a new dimension, and the old dimension will fall away. It will not be visible to you. So we don't know that you'll actually witness a event that will be one day it's this way, one day it is that way. As you are evolving your own energy into this fifth dimensional frequency, all those other things will fall away. They don't exist anymore, and you'll almost even be as if you forgot that they ever existed at all, because you'll be in the new energy and you won't need all of the denser energies were fear-based energies, and you won't resonate with them, and they'll fall away. So it will be almost as if you don't even remember that version once it is all complete. Does that make sense?
Kind of like stagecoaches. Very good. Oh my gosh. Daniel, is there anything that you can tell us as far as humanity? Is there anything that you would like us to know on the collective as we close tonight?
We just want to remind each and every one of you that you are very special. You are very unique. You are wonderful, beautiful beings. And when you can discover that light within yourself and start that journey of understanding who you are and how great you are and how magnificent you are. And it's not a competition. It's not a competition of, oh, I'm an angel. Oh, well, I'm an Octurian. It's not a competition. You're both great. You're both wonderful. You're both magical, wonderful, creative, light beings. And we say to you, all of you are amazing, beautiful, expansive, creative. You are creating your reality. You are in a rapid manifestation. The energy, Kimla, you'll probably agree, astrologically, we are in this rapid manifestation. You think it happens. So let's start paying attention to what we're thinking about. And that's going to be the big message. What are you thinking about? Because if you were to really solidify in your mind that what you think about is what you're creating, then you might be a little bit more careful about what you let your mind wander on and what it is that you're spending time thinking about. Because if you can create with that thought, why not create something magnificent? Let's create your desires and your dreams. And so that is what we would like to leave you with, is pay attention to your thoughts, create your realities, be the magic that you are, create the world you want to live in. Do it right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for anyone else. Go create your reality, your wonderful creations of desire. And then as you do that, it starts to ripple effect out and everyone else will join you.
Thank you so much. We need to close this particular show, but Daniel, please come back and visit us soon.
We enjoy being here and we thank everyone for joining us. Thank you so much. We're going to give you back Tracy so she can say goodbye as well. Thank you for letting us be a part of your experience. Okay. I have also a dog that might jump off a bed and make a lot of noise right now. So that was distracting as I could hear him. I'm in a bedroom and he sleeps on the bed while I do these shows or work. And he is very close to wanting to come down off of the stairs very clumsily. Anyway, if you hear me, that's it.
Tracy, how can people get a hold of you for your sessions for being hypnotized and regressed and all these wonderful things that you do?
The wonderful things. Well, if you want a session with Daniel, like you just saw Daniel talking to Kimla, if you want a session like that, I have a session I call the Hour with Daniel, or you can do an ascension activation session, which Daniel takes you on a journey to discover who you are. So those are two different things. One, you can ask Daniel questions. The other one, you're going to go on a journey and you're going to have a lot of experiences and you can ask questions. That's the ascension activation session. Hour with Daniel. I do QHHT. That is something you need to do in person. I'm in Oregon. If you'd like to come visit me or you live out near me, that's also on my website, tracymayhan.com. So those are the big things. And I also do tarot readings and things like that. So it's all on the website. Thank you, Kimla, for letting me be here.
Oh my gosh, you are such a blessing. Thank you so much. I want to remind everyone that I am having a seminar for the new Chinese New Year, the year of the water tiger. This year is unbelievably fierce, competitive. There is a way to make a lot of money, and we know how to do it, how to ride that tiger and how to bring it into success for you and for your household. So this particular seminar is on January 23rd at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can go on my website and sign up right now, and that is Kimla Lowe, LOWE.com. Thank you, Tracy. And thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight and being with us. We sure appreciate you. And until next time, may the angels protect you and guide you. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.